3 years ago this month, a fire at a Baldwinsville apartment complex took the life of a 54-year-old man.
In his first call to 911 just after 2 in the morning, Larry Gillette said he was having problems breathing, but the fire quickly escalated. By the morning, an internal investigation was underway. Ultimately, the head of the 911 center described the event in an affidavit obtained by NBC3. Now, in it, the 911 commissioner states the delay in dispatch may have contributed to the death. According to the 911 commissioner, it was only the second time in the history of the 911 center that a death may have been due in part to a delay in dispatching the appropriate fire department resources. In this NBC3 exclusive tonight, we uncovered details of the county's follow-up investigation, which has been kept internal until now. Late November 2012, in the middle of the night, 54-year-old Larry Gillette calls 911 for help. He's having trouble breathing. He tells 911 there's smoke. Police and a rescue truck start toward the apartment. Larry Gillette says he's trapped. There's an explosion. Documents we've obtained state that police can't get inside. They make a heroic attempt. Pushed back by flames in front, they break a window in back. They're yelling to Gillette, but can't reach him as the apartment fills with smoke and fire. The fire trucks have yet to arrive. Larry Gillette cannot be saved. What are your fond memories of Larry?
He was a good-hearted person. He thought the world of me. If I said something I want, he would always go out and get it for me. And just miss him.
Larry Gillette grew up in Baldwinsville, the oldest of 3 boys. He served in the military. He loved watching sports. His family says he was content living with his little dog.
We had to identify, Larry as, as he was the one who actually passed away in the fire, which was very disturbing to see anything like that, and especially, being a family member and a close brother, it's very hard to see something like that. I don't wish that upon anybody.
And so it's almost within a minute or two after. 3 years after the fire, the Gillette family tried to put it behind them. They did not look too deeply into the events of November 29th. Were you surprised when I contacted you?
Yeah, I was blown away. I didn't think anything ever would come of it.
The family says they heard stories of a delay, but knew nothing more. It wasn't until we called and revealed the results of the internal investigation done by the commissioner of 911 that anyone told the Gillettes there had been a delay of nearly 5 minutes in dispatching the Baldwinsville Fire Department. Through a Freedom of Information request, we obtained the chronology of events recorded in the 911 Center's computer system. Court documents also reveal statements made by those in the 911 center that night and results of the county's internal investigation. 2:02:18 in the morning. The initial call from Larry Gillette comes into the 911 call taker. He's complaining of having difficulty breathing. At 2:03:16, the Onondaga County fire dispatcher at the 911 center sends out the Baldwinsville rescue only. At 2:03:38, Gillette tells 911 there's smoke. At 2:03:44, the call is upgraded to residential fire by the call taker. The documents NBC3 obtained show the fire dispatcher did not act at that time to send the Baldwinsville fire trucks. At 2:03:56, Gillette says he's trapped. Then at 2:07:53, the 911 call taker hears a loud noise and an alarm. In her statement to investigators, the call taker says Gillette told her something had exploded. Something was on fire. At 2:08:20, police arrive on the scene and report heavy fire from Larry Gillette's second-floor apartment. At 2:08:38, the county dispatcher calls out the Baldwinsville Fire Department to go to the scene. According to the internal investigation, from the time the 911 center upgrades the event to a residential fire at 2:03:44, it's 4 minutes and 54 seconds before fire engines are dispatched to Larry Gillette's apartment. Due to the significance of this event, a fatality, which may have been due in part to a delay in dispatching the appropriate fire department resources. In a sworn affidavit, the 911 commissioner states in the history of 911, there is only one other incident that resulted in a fatality where the delay in dispatch may have contributed to the outcome. What's your impression of how, now that you've seen these documents that show there was this 5-minute delay, what was your feeling when you heard that news and have seen that?
Anger. you know, something definitely went wrong. Just, there's a lot of anger.
Over losing a brother who might have been saved.
What do you think about hearing about this delay that we've been talking about? What's your impression?
I always thought there was something wrong. In my heart, I thought there was something that wasn't right.
What about the fire dispatcher who was the focus of the 911 Center internal investigation? Well, according to documents, Mary Beth Pizarros is an experienced dispatcher, an 18-year employee of the 911 Center. The county's investigation reveals she continues to assert that she acted appropriately and would not do anything differently. In the 911 Commissioner, William Bliley's affidavit, he says, quote, the dispatcher shirked her responsibility, betrayed the public, and compromised the credibility and the integrity of the center. Court documents show Pizarros has made several statements about her actions that night. She wrote, my actions were within guidelines for dispatching a fire call. Now, I spoke with her over the phone just the other day. She declined to do an interview on the advice of her attorney. We made several attempts over the last 8 months through the Freedom of Information Act to obtain the 911 dispatch recordings. All of our requests have been denied by Onondaga County. Tonight on NBC3 News at 11, we'll tell you if any action was taken against Pizarros and how she has taken several avenues to show how she believes she's being unfairly treated by Onondaga County. The Gillette family will also tell us whether they think the dispatcher should still be on the job. That's coming up tonight at 11.
And that was going to be my question. Is she still on the job right now?
She's working. She went in the other day, working overtime. She's still there, and she has every right to be. Nobody's said otherwise.
All right. Well, really interesting story, and of course, you know, we feel horrible for that family that lost a loved one.
They certainly are feeling the pain from it, that's for sure.
Matt, thank you. Continuing coverage right now of the terror in Paris.